All right, so get this. The U.S. government is sending millions of dollars worth of condoms to Gaza. At least that's what some are saying.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into this claim today. And it's pretty wild. We've got this investigative article from Mother Jones. It takes us down a rabbit hole of misinformation and the very real consequences that it can have.
Misinformation and aid. That's a dangerous cocktail. I'm really eager to unpack this with you and see what's actually going on here.
Yeah, so it all starts with Karoline Leavitt, the new White House press secretary. In her very first press briefing, she just drops this bombshell that the administration halted $50 million in funding because it was going to be wasted on condoms in Gaza. She even called it preposterous waste, which, really plays into those concerns about how our tax dollars are spent.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a classic attention-grabbing tactic, using strong language and tapping into existing anxieties about government spending. But the question is, what's the reality behind this claim?
Well, that's what Mother Jones dug into. And here's where it gets interesting. They couldn't find any evidence to actually support Leavitt's statement. In fact, the International Medical Corps, the organization that was set to receive the funding, stated point blank that no U.S. government money was being used for condoms or family planning services.
It's so fascinating to me how a statement can make such a splash, yet the facts on the ground tell such a different story. The Mother Jones article does mention a State Department official claiming condoms are, quote, traditionally, always, part of family planning efforts supported by USAID. But when you look at USAID's own data, it directly contradicts that claim. Their reports show they've provided practically zero funding for condoms in the entire Middle East region in recent years.
Really, it's like this game of he said, she said, but with real-world consequences. So we've got Leavitt's claim, the International Medical Corps' denial, and then these conflicting statements from the State Department and USAID. I'm already feeling a bit lost, to be honest, in this maze of information. What are your thoughts on this apparent contradiction?
Well, it certainly raises questions about the validity of the initial claim. And if we look at the numbers, the whole thing becomes even more perplexing. The Washington Post analyzed USAID spending and found they typically spend about 3.3 cents per condom.
Okay, so let's do some quick math here. If we take Leavitt's $50 million figure and divide that by the 3.3 cents per condom, we're talking about over 1.5 billion condoms.
Think about that for a second. That's over 700 condoms per person in Gaza. That statistic really highlights just how outlandish the initial claim was.
Yeah, that's enough condoms to build a latex bridge to the moon. It's pretty clear this claim doesn't hold water, but it does make you wonder, why create this whole narrative around condoms in the first place?
That's where we start to see the political dimensions of this situation come into play. This case exemplifies a concerning trend, where aid becomes a tool for political point scoring. It's crucial to understand the political narratives at play, often exploiting public anxieties around foreign aid to further specific agendas.
So perhaps it's less about actual condoms and more about using a loaded topic to justify funding cuts.
It's been a fascinating and thought-provoking discussion, and I hope it's left our listeners with a renewed sense of awareness and a commitment to being more critical and informed consumers of information.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.